Hi to you all, it's Bernard, welcome, and I'm truly excited today to share with you some great news. You might remember the Tudor MN78 story we did in January, where we did also the video and talked about a little bit more about the provenance and story of the story. Well, that watch found a great new home, very, very fast. And today we have very exciting news. We have another original owner story, Tudor MN, but with an exciting twist because it's not one Tudor MN, but it's actually two Tudor mans from the same original owner, commanded by the Marine Nationale. So yeah, very exciting. I'm happy with you to share the story and talk about the watches and share a little bit of their history with you. So yes, two watches. One a 78, one the 80, all from the same original owner. He also has been in the Marine Nationale for a very, very, very long time. All his career, all the commando trainings, special units, really, really elite units. You can compare them with the British SBS and the Navy SEALs. And at the end of his career, he eventually, became instructor, also officer of certain units. And last but not least, also went into the private sector where he was involved in counterterrorism and counter protection of vessels in the Arabic seas and stuff like this. So he really was an exciting life, and we are really happy that we could find them. We stayed in touch with the owner of the one from January the 78, and he asked a few of his ex-colleagues if they still have some watches, and this commando, the owner of these watches, came forward, so we were happy that we could buy them from him. And yeah, we are really proud to show them to you today. And these are really special pieces, in a way that they both have a very special character, and that's why we call them the Beauty and the Beast. And that has a reason. So let me take you on board of the story of how we got the watches. As said, they come from the original owner. He has been with elite forces of the Tudor and Marine Nationale Commandos. And the first watch I want to share with you is the Beauty. It's a 78 MN. You see a little bit here. Of course, go to the website. You can see way more images. We wrote an article about both of them with all the history, with all the provenance, show you the letter of provenance and everything. So you can really dive into it in our magazine article or look at the watches in our shop. What is really exciting, this one is the Beauty is, full tritium dial, everything. Tritium hands, they have been stabilized, like we taught already before, which has happened a lot with these watches. Snowflake hands get brittle, so they have been stabilized. Fantastic, nice inlay, super nice case, 78 engraving on the case back. Everything that we want in a Tudor MN, real grail piece. And also this one comes with the copy, of the ledger copies, because that's the interesting part of this. What we immediately could see is that both of these watches have been part of the southern branch in Toulon, where also the diving school is nearby. And all the southern watches, when they had been serviced, went to a watchmaker. We also wrote about it, the famous watchmaker who also kept all the ledger copies, or all the ledgers, the service ledgers for all the watches that he serviced. And we have been able to get ledger copies for both of these watches. So you get also, with a serial number in it, you can see when it was serviced, also which unit it belonged or ship it belonged to. So it gives you all, for us, the ledger copies are one of the most important pieces of a Tudor MN. It shows a lot of the authenticity, but of course with this, buying it from original owner, but also getting his letter of provenance with all the history, what he has done, and also images of him in action, and even more interesting, of him wearing the watch. We marked the pictures where he was wearing the watch, but also even, which is I really like, really cool, is where he is full uniform with a watch on it, and also his daughter on his shoulder. So it doesn't really get better in this than this in our Tudor Man land. Tudor Man, beautiful condition, and then ledger copies, letter of provenance, images of the commando also in action, and yeah, true Grail piece. I hope it will find a really great new home. What is really interesting also with this one, because the beast has the same characteristics, is that both of these watches have matted cases. You see that also on our website, the images. So the sides of the cases are matted, have a kind of a satin finish, which normally would be glossy on a civilian one. But of course, as we told before, with this line of work where reflection is an issue, often these watches, I know from the mill subs, have been matted. I haven't seen that a lot on Tudor MNs, but yeah, surprisingly, with all the 3 Tudor MNs we bought from the original owners, all 3 of them had that kind of characteristics. So for me, it's a really cool indication and also a cool thing. So yeah, that's the beauty. You can find it with us, the MN 78, and then we go to the beast, which is an interesting thing. And why do we call it the beast? First of all, it's a beast on the wrist, absolutely stunning. But the interesting thing is, you can't see it on this image, but you will sure see it in the shop and everything. As it so often goes with these kind of watches, mission watches, true worn military watches also often, they went to service a lot because they had a real function. As we talked about it before, as we have written about it, these are true tool watches. The commandos use them underwater, in the dark, synchronized missions for finding their navigations and everything. So for them, a watch is really important part, certainly in those times in the 70s and 80s. So they had to glow. They had to, show the time in the dark, and often, also with the tritium and everything, they lose their luminosity. So what happened to a lot of these watches? They got reloomed, and not with just anyone. I understood from the original owners that the watches had been serviced by their they call it the Rolex watchmaker. Probably maybe a local watchmaker, or Rolex authorized watchmaker they used, because both of these watches, the guy spent time in Toulon, but also in Lorient, which is the northern naval base in France, in Brittany. And they use different watchmakers, not the one in the south where we know the ledgers from, but they use different watchmakers. And as far as I understood from them, they used kind of Rolex watchmakers. And they have reloomed the dial. So also there are service marks in the case back from that period. But that's the difference, the big part. The watches are issued either to the south, to Toulon, or to the north, to Lorient. And in Lorient, they don't have ledgers. We don't know any ledgers from the services there. So the proof comes from the south. But this one has been also serviced in the north, and maybe they did the method of the matting of the case. But for sure they did the reloom, because that I know from the original owner, that they did the reloom of the hands and the dial. And normally you would say, hey, reloom, that's a bad thing. Yes, of course, it will reflect massively in the price of this piece. But it's true. How it went when watches really were in military use. These commandos needed them. They needed them to work, and then it went to watchmaker, became waterproofed, reloomed, and doing his job again as it should. So they went off to missions again, and that's what happened with this one. The next thing that happened with this one is the case back has been silverized. That means the engraving is gone on the case back, probably maybe rubbed off. I assume that's probably happened after they went out of service. So it wouldn't be so obvious that it's a military watch. What I understood from the original owner is he gave the watch to his dad, and he has been wearing it for more than 10 years till his death, and then it got back to the commando. So maybe the dad has civilized it and had got taken the numbers off. But so you got the beauty, which is full spec, all the things that you want in an MN at the Grail level. And this one is a true commando, Tudor Nationale, the serial, everything is correct. You also get the ledger copies, you also get the provenance, the letter of provenance, the images of the commander. So you have a full original Tudor MN, but it has a reloomed dial, reloomed hands, and the case back has lost its engraving. So it's a beautiful piece on the wrist, you know, great to catch up, to pick it and enjoy it at a completely different price level than the MN78 one. So yes, these are the beauty and the beast, two absolutely stunning watches, and I hope you will enjoy them. Contact me if you have any questions, and to be honest, we would love to see if these will go to a new home as a pair, because you know they spent their history together in the life of a amazing commando, and I hope they will also spend their future together. But let's see, and contact me, and I'm more than happy to help you to get your grail piece and maybe get one of these Tudor Mans. Thank you.